Hi everybody, this is Mark Schold from The Training Works, and I'm really excited to talk to you today about a really important topic when it comes to professional training, presentations, and facilitation. And the topic we're going to talk about today is the art of storytelling, because a good story, or the power of a good story, really cannot be underestimated. Recently I was on a flight from New York to Seoul, Korea, and while I was on this flight, it's a long flight, as I'm sure many of you would do, I watched a few movies on the airplane, and one of those movies was the movie Lion. And I'm sure a lot of you have already seen Lion, but if you haven't, it's a powerful story about a boy who was lost in India when he was young, adopted by Australian parents, and then he found his way back to India to find his family there. And it's just an emotional roller coaster of a story. And while I'm watching this, I found myself in tears on the airplane. I was just bawling, I was sobbing, and I was trying to get my hands on anything I could to dry my tears. A cocktail napkin, a pillow, a blanket at one point. I took a blanket, I was wiping my face with that. And I realized it wasn't even my blanket, it was the blanket to the man next to me. And he didn't seem too thrilled about it, but you know what? I was crying at the time and I needed it. And people around me were looking at me like, what's wrong with this guy? What's he watching? Why is he crying? So it was kind of embarrassing, but it got me thinking, man, the power of a story. And if we could take the power of a good story and use that in our presentations, in our corporate training programs, or whatever we're trying to facilitate, and we can use stories to get a message across to the audience, it's going to make it stick so much more for them. And that learning is going to be so much more sustainable as time goes on for them, because they'll connect that story and that emotion with the point that you're trying to get across. So my message today really is to try to use stories in your presentations when you can. And telling a good story really isn't easy. It takes practice. It takes time to master. So I want everybody to go out this week, if you can, and try practicing a story, whether it be in a professional environment, whether it be delivering a workshop, in a presentation, or outside of a professional environment. It could be with your family, it could be with your friends. Think of something interesting and tell it and see how it comes across. And if you can connect it with a main point, for example, in a professional setting where you want people to remember something that's going to affect their professional lives, then try to connect it to a main point. See how it goes. If it goes great, that's awesome. Try to make it even better next time. If it doesn't go so great, that's okay too. Improve on it. Think back to the story. What could you have done better? What could have made it more interesting? How can you make it better if you were listening to it from the audience's point of view? How did it make them feel? So I encourage all of you to go out this week, think of a good story and try to use it. And don't be afraid to use it, because stories really are such a powerful tool when it comes to delivering a presentation and when it comes to captivating an audience. And as we go through these video blogs, we're going to talk a little bit more about what tools we could use to make our stories even more interesting. All right, everybody, so that's it today. Tell a great story, go out this week, and give it a shot.